Hi and welcome. It's Jennifer Britton. I want to welcome you back for our final virtual writing session of Nano. It is 2019. You may be viewing this in 2020, 2021, but every Friday for the last month, starting on November 1st, I've hosted a 45-minute virtual writing session. This is the fifth in the series, and I would invite you to perhaps Google, use your search engine. Who knows what the technology will be like down the road, but check out the first four in the series. It is day 9 of the 2019 Nanowrimo, and I don't know what your month has been like, but it's been full on. I don't know how I'm going to adjust back to a regular schedule, but it's been a lot of early mornings. I've been trying to get up early. Usually in years gone by, I've always written early in the morning, but this year I've been trying to get heavier work done in the morning so that frees me up for more writing later on in the day. So regardless of where you got to, I think, as someone who's done Nano 5 times now, it's always a great experience. And wound up somewhere around 70,000 words, 67 to 70,000. Although it was interesting as I started pulling it together into the manuscript. This is my manuscript that, as you can see, I've already started editing. Some of my word count dropped off. So that's interesting. I'm not sure where the words went, but regardless, it is more than if you started with nothing, right? And that's the thing that I think we need to really encourage ourselves with. You've dedicated time and focus and energy this month as a published author. I think, there's a lot of work that goes into actually a novel work of art. As many of you know, I'm a business author, and really it's been a pleasure to be hosting these. What's still left for you to focus on, right? One of the learnings I've had in years gone by is that it's really important to take some notes around what your next steps are. I've done that this morning in one of my notebooks so that whether it is tomorrow, the day after, the week after, the month after, I can pick it up. I would like to be getting my guide out. So I've been working on a remote pathways guide. And with this, it really is about helping remote workers get started. It's their first 90-day guide. So keep an eye on that. So this is the fifth, the final virtual write-in that I'm hosting this month. They're 45 minutes. You'll need a pen or a keyboard, and they really are to help you move forward. Today is really the wrap-up. We started with vision. We also looked at, character adventures. Let me go to my Nano Write Every Day book, and let's see where else we were for this year's word sprints. This is the first time I've done them, and I'm excited because next year, you can go back and look at it. So on the 1st of November, we kicked off. Friday the 1st, on the 8th, we then also looked at your vision and what you want to know of your client. November 15th, we looked at context, so helped you get clear on context. Last week, it was sort of the what, so what, now what, what's your biggest opportunity, what's important, and now what you want to do. We also had your characters identify sort of their top 10 lists. So today is really the wrap up. And I'd like you to really follow along as you'd like. I'm going to set the timer for 4 minutes because I've got about 8 prompts for us to be working on today. And again, just feel free to use them, springboard from them, or use whatever. But we're going to move into a 4-minute time window of writing. And here we go. We will just get started right now. Let me give you our prompt. So I better just get into the prompt here. I'm going to stop my share so let's pop it up. All right, so share on. Here's the first prompt. Is there a wind down or a goodbye that you want to say to your character? So you can't hear that. That's a silent alarm, but it is the alarm nonetheless. And I'm going to go back. I'm, of course, typing out here. Let me stop my share. I'm going to do a new share here. Let's go to our next prompt. All right, so the next prompt is, what's next for your character? As you think about what's next in the story, in the landscape, what are the next steps for your character? Take the next 4 minutes to note that down. All right, that's where we're going to stop for that. Stop this share. And let's do a little bit of a pause. What do you notice in terms of your numbers? What do you notice in terms of the prompts and your flow? Stop that there. And I'm just going to put a little pause. We're going to take 2 minutes to note where you are with your writing. All right, so welcome back. Next question for you to consider: what other supports can your characters benefit from? Is there a follow-up? Is there a guide? Is there a discussion guide that goes with your workbook, your novel? For me, in terms of the remote pathways, there's definitely going to be checklists, worksheets. So I'm going to take a minute or so to just jot down my thoughts about that. We will start the timer again, and 4 minutes. What supports can they benefit from? All right. That is it. That is it. So what's interesting, I think, is that we really can look at all these different timelines and windows in terms of what supports are needed. And what I love about photos and imagery is like it really helps us see what is interesting. If you look closely, you might have noticed that this is a little worn, doesn't look fully supported. There might be some other things there. So now we're going to move to a 5-minute prompt here. And I'd like you to zoom in. There's a bunch of different questions, photographs that I've put here. I think the question simply is, which ones are you connecting in with? Okay, so I'm going to move to a pen and paper at this stage. I'm going to start our timer. And maybe there's something here that speaks to you. What is it that is important for you to know? All right, I hope you enjoyed that. In my work as a coach, I do a lot of work with visuals. Similar to this, this is one that I just made up, but I have a visual deck that I sell called Conversation Sparker. They are different photographs than what you see here, but I think you get the idea. So Next steps. What do you love? As we go back to thinking about your characters, what do you love? What do you grow? What do you need to adjust the settings on maybe? So love. And then I put this as like grow or revenue, settings, and then talk about. So those are like many different things, but let's take 4 minutes, maybe a minute apiece for you to note down your things on all of those. All right. So I think 4 minutes is just the time that I start getting into this. And I think that was a bit of a fun one. I hope that you enjoyed that graphic in this. What do you love? What do you need to grow? What do you need to set? What do you need to talk about? So you've dedicated a lot of time. I don't know how many umpteen hours over the course of this month, but we are coming to the end. And I think it's a question mark now of like, what are your next steps? and your time frames. Grab a pen, grab something visible and visual. So I'm actually going to go to my notepad where I've been taking notes that are separate from my Nano book and another book. Again, I'm a writer. I like to still do things on pad and paper, and I need to see them. I think we all need to see them. So the question here is, what are your next steps and your time frames? What do you still need to do to get this work out into the world? Take 4 minutes to do that. Okay, don't know about you, but I got a full page of lists, and that includes editing and some more things as well. I'm going to just put one more item number 9 down. So yeah, you know, the writing doesn't stop with the draft, and I think that can be an exciting thing or not an exciting thing. Some of you may now step away from this project and move forward with it at a later date. I think this is where Nanowrimo as an organization does a great level of support in terms of keeping us moving around projects. Will you be back in April for Camp Nano for editing? Will you be doing something before then? What are your next steps? And how much time are you willing to invest in this, right? I think there's a lot of different creative energies. Having published my 2016 Nano by July of the next year, that was really important. The next two projects, 17 and 18, are still in manuscript form. What I think is interesting is they're probably going to come out after this book. So I really see this next year for me, possibly 2 or even 3 books for remote workers. And again, I run a business, so I need to keep the business running. And that involves, of course, work with remote workers and coaching, but a lot of work with remote teams. So if you or your organization is moving remote, let me know how I might be able to support you. If you want one-on-one coaching, definitely reach out. If you are looking for a team day or co-working sessions that are facilitated, that's what I specialize in. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope that you have too. How are you going to celebrate? What are the things that you're going to do to celebrate your achievements? Not everyone gets to the end of the month. Even if you didn't do 50,000 words, think about what you have achieved. I want to leave you with just 2 minutes right now to actually make note of sort of your lessons learned this month. This is where I like to capture sort of a Nano overview. And I'm going to just put a little thing. I'm going to reach back and see what I've done in other months, other years, just to see what might be sort of an end result. This didn't start until July 2018. So what was Nano like? Camp Nano Learning, future projects. Take 2 minutes right now to note your learning and how you're going to celebrate. All right. And again, a big thank you for joining me, whether this was the only one or whether you joined me for others. As I said a few minutes ago, continue to offer coaching support. Join me December 13th for a virtual planning day. That's going to be 4 hours of focus in the PlanDoTrack. Certainly think back to this, I think. What do you love? Where do you need to grow? What do you need to set? You know, is there some scheduling you need to do here? And what do you need to talk about to keep this alive? I love this little graphic. Who can help you love this work? How can you put it out in the world? One of the things that I'm super excited about is something that I think that's going to move the needle on all 4 of these. I don't think I included it, but it is the new remote pathways podcast, and that is going to follow the adventures of my colleagues in the remote working space. So with that, take care. I look forward to being back with you next year for another series of writing prompts. Have a great year and hope to see you in our Camp Nano time as well. Be well. And it's Jennifer Britton saying bye.